coming up in this video, not only have I bought far too many cars, including a new one, you can win a set of brand new Michelin tyres for your car. Keep watching to find out how. So this is a little bit of an unusual start to a video, but hopefully a very exciting one. Obviously I've got my CLK Black Series here, but for some reason I've decided to put my laptop on the boot lid, and that is because we're actually going to do a little bit of bidding on a car. This is something I've never done before. Obviously I've bought this and that on eBay, but I've never bid on a car before. We're on the PistonHeads Auctions site, and we've got this beautiful V8 manual Audi R8. I used to own one of these cars. I've missed it ever since I sold it. So an opportunity is coming up in 10 minutes and 19 seconds to buy this car. So we're going to place a bid and see if we get lucky. Okay, there's only 33 seconds left. Obviously, I've left it right until the last minute because I'm sure many other people have. I've got no idea what's going to happen. This is live. This is a live auction. I'm going to put in max 30k. And we'll see what happens. My heart's racing. Place. I'm currently winning, I think. I don't know. Does that mean I'm winning? Congratulations to the highest bidder. So this is properly stressful right now. It's now 6 minutes past 8. The auction was naturally supposed to end at 8 o'clock, but this is like extra time. So every time someone else puts in a bid, which a couple of people have, it increases again by a few minutes just to give everyone a fair chance to win. But there's 13 seconds left and I'm still winning. I'm nervous. We're up to 29,300. 6 seconds left. Okay, this is getting real now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Did I win? Does that mean I won? What happens now? Congratulations, you won this auction. There we go. I've just bought a car on the internet off PistonHeads Auctions. So that was quite thrilling. We're going to go see the car now, I assume, and all being well, buy it, take it for a drive. So thank you for joining me on this journey so far.
You're mad.
So just like that, I said we we're going to go check out the R8. Things have escalated. The R8 is here, and not only is it here, it's also here with all of my other cars. Yes, I successfully won this car on PistonHeads Auctions, and we'll talk all about that in a moment. However, first I thought this was a great opportunity to look around the rest of my cars, because yes, as you can probably tell, things have got extremely out of hand here. So first and foremost, I have to say this is probably my favorite car in my collection, if you could call it that. This is my CLK Black Series, one of just 25 in the country, one of 500 in the world. A very special car, lower, wider, more powerful, lighter than the standard CLK 63 AMG. Carbon fibre wings, carbon fibre splitter, bucket seats, no rear seats. This is a serious car, and very recent addition to this car, or rather slight modification. I've just had the wheels powder coated in chrome to match kind of how they should have looked. They should have been ball polished, but I've had them powder coated in chrome because they were painted silver by someone else, so I wanted to get them closer back to that original look. So thank you to Lepsons for doing a fantastic job on that. Then moving down, we've got more V8s. Of course, that's the 6.2 V8. Here we've got a 5-litre V8. This is the R129 500 SL. This is a 1990. We've had this car for 4 years. I bought this car for Helen, who's behind the camera, when her Abarth got stolen, and this probably was where the love for Mercedes. You can probably see I like all things German here. In fact, every single one of my cars is German, but the love for Mercedes started here with this R129, just around about 100,000 miles in Nautic blue with mushroom leather. This thing is lovely. We'll probably never get rid of this. Then another car that's arguably quite similar to it, but also quite different. This is the SLK 55. This is 5.4 litre naturally aspirated V8 engine, little pocket rocket, something like 350 brake horsepower with the roof down. It doesn't weigh very much, and it makes a fantastic noise, and it is really fun to drive. It's finished in Daytona blue. This is a 2005, and I absolutely love it. As you can see, things have got out of hand, so I need to think about selling something. So some cars I really can't let go of, but this one I've had my fun with, and you can probably tell I've got a few cars that do a similar job to it. V8s, convertibles, I've got the Boxster as well. So this is probably going to be one of the first to go, but I'm in no rush. Moving further back, to mention PistonHeads Auctions. PistonHeads actually in August are having their annual service coming up, and Michelin have reached out to me. It was Michelin who did delivery on this. Michelin have reached out and want to have this car on display on their stand at Bicester, so that's exciting. Obviously we've got the Michelin Pilot livery, the old school livery, and of course the sticky Cup 2 tyres. This is my track car. I don't really use this on the road. It is road legal, but it's got harnesses, bucket seats. This is a stripped out, lightweight, so much fun. I mean, I can't believe the amount of money I spent on this car versus how much fun it is. I can't believe it. Fantastic value for money. Then this is the one you've all been loving on my YouTube channel recently. This is the Almondine Black W220 S600 long wheelbase. We just came back from Germany in this car, and you can still tell it's covered in dead flies and so on. Sadly, I've not had a chance to wash it. Believe me, I thought about washing all of these cars before this little video, but the thought of washing 10 cars, it was too much. Everyone seems to love it. It's going crazy on YouTube, so hopefully my adventures with that car continue. And then on the flip side, very similar, also the year 2000, E38 7 Series. This is Oxford Green 728i M Sport. It's got the M parallel wheels, fully de-chromed, full oyster interior. I absolutely adore this car. We went down to Monaco in this car, 4 of us. I managed 35 mpg all the way down to Monaco, which for a barge from the year 2000 with 4 people on board is pretty impressive. You know, there's nothing that it really does that the S-Class doesn't do, and I definitely want to keep the S-Class. So probably time to let this one go, unfortunately. Although I should give a thank you to the Carco Chelsea, who I bought this car off around about 2 years ago, for selling me such a nice car. Had great travels in it, but yeah, this will be one of the next ones to go. Moving further back, these are really the workhorses. Obviously, I've got the V8s up front, but these are the daily cars. Here is my E46 Touring. It's just a little 318i, but it's ULEZ compliant. It's actually got really low mileage. I bought it from a family that had owned it since it was 1 year old. So to get a car like this for just £1,500 I paid for it, it's an absolute bargain. I do around about 45 mpg in it. It's quite basic, but as I said, ULEZ compliant, super comfortable. It's manual, which is not what I was after, but I actually don't mind it at all. And speaking of ULEZ compliant, this car certainly is not ULEZ compliant. This is my 230TE S124 station wagon of the E-Class 1989, and this car has a little bit of patina, as you can probably tell. But the beautiful thing about this car, we went to Germany in this car. This car has done now, I think, 550,000 miles, still going strong. I really want to get it to that 620,000 mile mark, which is, of course, 1,000,000 kilometers. We've currently got the 500,000 kilometer mileage award badge on there, so I'm trying to get that 1,000,000 kilometer mileage award, because this car has a fantastic story to tell. First owner had it for 30 years, and he did most of the mileage in it, going back and forth from Europe. He was an antiques dealer, and I've ended up with a car, and it needs a little bit of this and that, a little bit of love, but it still drives very nicely, and it's got loads of space in the back for the dogs. In fact, it's the biggest, but you think, why on earth would you need 2 estate cars? And I don't know why you would need 2 estate cars. I really don't need 2 estate cars, but this one is special to me. I would never get rid of it, and it's got a huge boot, whereas this one's very good on fuel and is ULEZ compliant. Then finally, dare I say it, if I had to sell every car and keep just one, it would be the i3 that I'd keep. Had it 3 years, I've done 70,000 miles in it now, and it's been faultless. I think I've had to spend in maintenance £100 on this car in 70,000 miles, and it's so cheap to drive. When we've got the V8s up front, I'm in no means an eco warrior. Obviously, I love my cars that burn petrol, but the difference in price to run this versus any of those is astronomical. And they say with electric cars that they're not really any better for the environment, below around about 50,000 miles on average. But this car's now up to 110,000 miles. So I know that every mile that I do in this car is a CO2 saving versus its petrol equivalent. It's not just about that. It's cheap, it's fun to drive, it's faster off the line than any of these cars, and it's like a go-kart to sling it around. And the other thing I should mention, and this is going to be a little topic of this video, is the Michelin tyres. 50,000 of those 70,000 miles I did on a set of Michelin e-Primacy tyres on this car. 50,000 miles, and the front still had probably 5,000 miles left in them when I decided to change the whole set. And that's a bit of a theme here. Michelin tyres everywhere. The wagon has got Michelin Cross Climate 2s. The Touring has got Michelin Cross Climate 2s. The S600 has Michelin PS5s. The Boxster has got Cup 2s. The E38 has got PS4s. The SL's got Primacies. PS5s all round on the SLK. PS4S's super sporty tyres on the CLK Black Series. Obviously, these tyres are huge. And then the newest car hasn't been so lucky. It's got some Italian rubbish on it, which is cracking, perishing a little bit around the edges. And I went for a drive in this at the weekend, and I remember my old R8. I had one before. And I remember everyone said I was crazy. In the rain, I'd be going way faster than everyone else around the bends, and everyone said, you're going to kill yourself. And I was like, nope, the car is got so much confidence in it, so much grip, and that's because it was on the Michelin PS4S tyres. However, now on the Italian tyres, I went for a drive in the weekend, it was a little bit damp and it was scary. This car, it's night and day, the grip that this car has without the Michelins on it. So obviously that means one thing. Just to interrupt quickly, hopefully you are all enjoying the video so far. I need to remind you to head to pistonheads.com/HPH if you want to find your next car or if you want to sell your car quickly and easily. So, tyre talk. This is the good stuff. Michelin PS4S. I've never had a bad experience with Michelin tyres. As you can see here, I've got 10 cars. All of them are Michelin and all of them are great because of it. And this car is the 10th that will have these tyres go on. They won't be cracking like the ones on it. They won't have very little grip like the ones on it. These will be brilliant, just like the tyres I used to have on my old R8. And I said at the start of the video that you could win a set for yourself, and you can. Very exciting. Full details on the competition, how to enter, are down in the description. I'll put a post up on my Instagram page. You have to go and enter over there, but all of that information is linked down in the description of the video. One final very important thing to talk about in this video, the R8. Obviously lots of travel to come with this car. Gated V8 manual all-wheel drive. This thing is going to be so much fun to drive. I already know that it is. When I drove it home from buying it, I remembered just how nice they are. Zero regrets. So now it's time for me to talk about how I bought this car. Obviously you saw me bidding at the start of the video. So PistonHeads Auctions, a new auction platform. PistonHeads is a well-established platform and it is the #1 dedicated marketplace in the UK for buying and selling premium cars. So it was only a matter of time before they started an auction site. And I have to tell you, the buying process was so easy. I bought an R8 before, I've mentioned it before, and I had a few problems. I won't name the dealer, some of you know who I bought it from, but I had a few problems with that car. Warranty issues, things they refused to fix that they shouldn't have been wrong in the first place. Silly things, sensors, air conditioning not working, etc. It was a completely different experience with this. Because it was an auction, because there were detailed photos, the buyer had been super upfront about anything that was or wasn't wrong with it. I knew exactly what I was getting into and I could bid accordingly. And of course it means, as the buyer and as the seller, you get a fair price for your car. So I'm very happy with what I paid for this, and the seller is also happy because he knows in the market at the moment he's got the maximum possible for his car, given the condition it's in. Nothing wrong with it by any means, but of course an old car, there'll always be little niggles, and he's not going to have tyre kickers coming around. I've agreed a price online at the auction, so all I have to do is go around there, make sure the car exists, make sure it starts and drives, and pay the money and get out of there. So super easy, hassle-free for everyone. A pleasure to deal with the seller, a pleasure to deal with PistonHeads. One-to-one service. Any questions you had, they're more than happy to help. And the end result is I've ended up with a beautiful car. So there we go, the latest of my 10 cars. And 10 cars is actually a lie. I actually have 12 cars. 2 are projects, same as the R129 that I showed you earlier. So no point in showing you 3 of the same car. But big thank you for Tigger Store for letting us film here today. This is where actually 2 of my cars live safely in storage. Obviously, I swap them around as and when I want to change cars. But yeah, Tigger Store look after my cars. So big thank you to them for letting us film here today. There we go. We've gone a full circle. We are back where we started the video, except it is a different German V8 on my driveway this evening. The CLK has not gone, but rather this R8 has joined the family, and I'm absolutely delighted with it. Every time I drive it, every time I catch a glimpse of it, I just think, wow, that thing is fantastic. Absolutely zero regrets so far having bought this car on PistonHeads Auctions. And I need to tell you a little bit more about PistonHeads Auctions. So as mentioned, PistonHeads for many, many years has been the #1 premium car marketplace in the UK, and now that they have an auction site, they have a carefully curated selection of fantastic automobiles such as this one that you can bid on. And not only that, they also of course still have thousands of cars, from daily cars all the way up to supercars in the classified section. So make sure to head to pistonheads.com/HPH to check out exactly what's coming up for auction and exactly what they have on the classifieds. Always the most interesting cars are for sale on PistonHeads. For instance, my SLK 55, I found that on PistonHeads, wasn't listed anywhere else, and I got a great deal on that too. So if you're thinking about buying a very nice car, or if you're thinking about selling your car at auction, which is quick, easy, hassle-free, and guarantees you a fair price for the car and no tyre kickers, then go to pistonheads.com/HPH.